If you are listening today, you most likely know someone who is the age 65 and older. Did you know that those who are 65 and older are 2 times more likely to die in a kitchen fire?
It's crazy.
Unbelievable. Well, we are going to tackle this very topic. I know for me, I was always worried about my parents and whether they were going to leave the stove on. So right after a word from our sponsors, we're going to bring on a guest who's going to talk about this very topic and how we can solve it.
This incredible show made possible by our wonderful sponsors, Assured Senior Living, Love, It's What We Do, and Serenity Engage, where care connects. Now, a brief message from Serenity Engage. Serenity connects aging service providers, older adults, and their loved ones in a single network. Our web, mobile, and smart assistance products power the network that enables real-time, HIPAA-compliant communication, collaboration, and education. When we care together, providers increase revenue and lower expenses, older adults receive better care, and family has greater peace of mind.
And we are back. And with that, we are going to bring on our incredible guest, Akshita, who is the founder of Ohm. I don't want to do too much. I want you to do the talking because your story is incredible. So welcome.
Thank you, Francis and Catherine. It is such an honor to be here. Love what you guys do at Mavericks of Senior Living and excited to talk more.
Wonderful. So kind of give us your why. How did we end up here today? Because obviously you, like you said, you had a degree in neuroscience, yet here we are with an incredible application for the stove.
Yeah, it's been quite the journey. So I started this company really to bring the same level of peace of mind and safety in the kitchen that we have everywhere else, right? And like you said, my background's in neuroscience, never expected to know so much about kitchen appliances, never wanted to know about kitchen appliances. And I decided to take a few gap years after I graduated from college. I was supposed to go to med school, thought I was going to do that my entire life. And during those gap years, watched a lot of Shark Tank, got very inspired, wanted to try something myself, didn't know what it would be. And in that time, my mom, who was just diagnosed with Parkinson's a few years before that, just left the stove on one too many times, started a kitchen fire. And it was a reality check on so many levels, right? So one, the smart home exploded after Nest was acquired, all these home safety and security devices, but the kitchen had nothing. And then secondly, my parents are getting older and they're not planning on moving out of their house anytime soon. And my mom, for the first time, I realized that her life was actually changing. And things that she loves to do every day are becoming more difficult. And so I went down a bit of a rabbit hole about what's happening in the smart kitchen and who are the players and why aren't we really building technology that's meaningful and valuable, and realized that there was an opportunity to build a retrofit type solution like your smart door locks and doorbells and thermostats for your kitchen, because your appliances last 10, 15, 20 years. So we're not really buy one unless it breaks or we build a new house. So I thought, how hard could it possibly be to build a connected device, right? It's like plastic, a motor, a board, you put it together, even in a box. Literally how easy I thought it would be. Ignorance was bliss, and I'm glad it was, because I would not have started at all. But obviously it was a bit more complicated than that. But what we ended up creating is the only retrofit system on the market today that can turn your standard gas or electric stove into a smart appliance without the need for a new one. So I've got a little stove back here. The way it works is very simple. We basically have a smart stove knob that works exactly like your regular stove knob. So you push, you turn. The only difference is that that device is Wi-Fi connected. It's got a built-in motor, so we can automatically and proactively, through our app here, actually turn the burner off or turn it to a different temperature, and you'll see it rotating right there.
Whoa.
With the touch of a button.
Wait, hold on. So if you're in the house, let's say my parents are at their house and I've noticed this has been on for 30 minutes. I just, right, I could just pull my phone up and say, hey, turn it off.
Yes. So Francis, not only can you turn it off, but we also have an automatic shut off. So if you forget and you get distracted, you can set a timer so that after 30 minutes, if it can automatically turn off for you so that you don't have to worry about it, you will get a notification knowing that everything is off. So we do have the ability to proactively do something for you, but then you can also retain that access through our smartphone from anytime, anywhere.
Whoa. Now, this might seem, maybe I'm getting down a rabbit hole here, but can you start to see maybe cognitive changes by someone that starts to leave this on a little more often and the safety feature kicks in? Because to me, that's almost another metric to gauge. Maybe there's something going on with my mom or dad or spouse or something.
Oh, absolutely. There's so much data that comes from these smart devices, but I think what we've realized over the last decade is that data for the sake of data doesn't mean anything. Can you actually turn that into something that is meaningful and actionable for someone? And so to your point, what we started to realize in the last year and a half as we ship product is one, that our target consumers tend to be middle-aged adults who have young kids at home, but who also have aging family members. And so they were buying multiple sets, installing this for mom or dad, then monitoring from our app through their phone. And so then we realized, okay, is there an opportunity to tackle this aging in place? And let's go to senior living communities, right, that have independent living units where safety and peace of mind is a huge priority, risk mitigation of a building fire, but then also, can we unobtrusively provide a resident profile of general well-being based on cooking activity? So we can detect how often someone cooks, what time of day they cook, how long they're cooking for, when that auto shutoff engages, how often it does. And what we're doing with those insights is actually building, a profile that can alert a caregiver, a family member, if something looks off, right? So if there's aberrant behavior, all of a sudden mom didn't cook for 4 days, so maybe you should go and check on her. And we actually are partnering with Whirlpool and Residio, Honeywell's consumer arm, to build a more holistic picture of what's happening in an apartment. So are they opening the fridge door? Are they doing their laundry? Are they even in the kitchen? And so I think there is so much we can do with this data. And the first thing we're doing is better understanding, hey, is mom, dad on okay? And are they doing the things that they normally do every day?
Well, I think too, what I really like I'm hearing about this is it's not an invasion of privacy.
Right. Yeah. Very, very non-obtrusive, and just peace of mind for anybody. My husband takes Ambien to sleep at night and has for a really long time. And many times I've gotten up and the stove is still on, and that's no bueno, right?
Yeah.
And he doesn't know it. He's not thinking about it. That this would be a very simple thing. And I actually was thinking, this is interesting, because I was thinking, do we have to go buy a new smart stove? Is that like that? And that's a major investment. And knowing about things like this and thinking about independent living and thinking about aging at home. And we're big advocates of age at home as long as it makes sense.
Right.
And this can help with that.
Well, I even think off what Akshita said, the independent living component here, right? That's a huge element that is often overlooked, right? We assume that they're independent, right? And I would, a lot of them are, but there are some health and cognitive challenges that are rising even in independent living.
Yes.
The joke in the industry is independent living is what assisted living used to be 10 years ago, right? Assisted is what memory care used to be 10 years ago, and memory care is what skilled used to be 10 years ago. So we know in independent living, we have some cognitive challenges, not dementia, maybe just some mild,
right?
But at the end of the day, what is something, we have a safety element that can set a timer that says, look, we're turning this off after 10 minutes or 15 or 7, whatever it is.
Right. Yeah.
That is incredible. You've now reduced this stigma around someone that's, I can't believe I forgot to turn the stove off.
Right. It's the independence and the agency that it gives them.
Correct.
And then the peace of mind for families. So just to be clear for our audience, family member doesn't have to be on the same Wi-Fi, correct?
No.
Okay. So from Colorado, Francis would be able to monitor his parents in another state. Yes?
Yes.
Okay.
Wow. So actually,
everything. Yeah.
That's awesome. So let's talk kind of, am I like do I have to be techie to put this on? Like, do I have to know how a stove works? Like, how complicated is this, project, we'll call it, to fix it?
Yeah, not complicated at all. The best thing about, being a non-technical founder was that, I'm just like everyone else, right? And the first and foremost, I wanted to make sure that this was super intuitive, that we're not changing how you cook. You've been cooking this, a certain way for the last 30 years. Keep that. All you have to do is take your existing stove knob off and it'll look like this. You have a shaft there. We have an adapter that goes on, and then you put our knob over, and then you use this just like you do a regular stove knob. So for mom or dad, if you're installing this, they cook like they have been. They use their stove like they have been. They don't even need the app if they don't want access to that. We do connect with voice assistants too if they use those. But all of the safety features are actually are hard coded into the device itself. So they don't need to actually do anything. In fact, even if the Wi-Fi goes out and you don't have access because now you can't see the app, all the safety features will still work. You'll just get those notifications later. So it's super simple. That was priority number one, because when it comes to smart home devices, as you probably know, installation and ease of use are all barriers to people actually using. So we wanted to get that out of the way.
Yeah, is it relatively easy then to get it on Wi-Fi as well too? Because I know that always can be some challenge for people. That's awesome, because I've done a few of those and I've had some battles with the Wi-Fi. So
how do you connect the app? Let's say Francis is here in Colorado, his parents in another state. How would he get his app connected to their stove?
Yeah, well, so you would have to be in person. So typically what our customers who are buying this for their family members are doing is on vacation or whenever they're visiting their parents, they go and install it. They get it all online. So on our app, it'll guide you through everything you need to do, just like any other smart home device. Once it's connected, then you can leave, you can go wherever you need to, and it'll all work. But you do have to be in person, at least initially, to get that.
That's great. That makes
sense. Yeah, that's fantastic.
And so again, this might be a not super smart question, but can I have all my knobs be smart knobs on a stove, or is it only one? Can I have, if I have 5 knobs, can I have all 5?
Yeah, our average order size is 4, just because most stoves have 4 knobs. But yeah, I mean, we recommend that you outfit your entire stove. We do find that our younger demographic customers may just buy 1 or 2 because they're using this more for the convenience, right? They use 1 or 2 burners the most. They set cooking timers. They use Alexa. But we suggest that you outfit everything just for comprehensive.
Now, you said voice control. Now, if it's connected to the voice control capability, does that mean I could say turn on knob 1 to certain or how does that work? Because I'm intrigued by that component for my own family. I'm thinking about this for my wife and kids now, for us.
Yeah. So that's actually a good point. We do not allow you to remotely turn any burner on for safety reasons and security reasons. We don't want anyone accidentally turning a burner on, especially for a gas range. Once you turn it on, then you can do anything through voice. You can set a cooking timer. Hey, I'm not going to say her name because she's going off over there. Amazon, set a timer on burner 1 for 10 minutes, or turn all burners off. Or we actually have a safety lock too. So if you want to make sure that the stove is not turned on during a certain period of time, you can enable a safety lock, which means that if it's turned on during that time, we will automatically turn it off. We'll send you a notification. This is primarily for
little kids.
Older adults accidentally, in the middle of the night look. And then you also have pets that are the number of videos we have received of like dogs and cats jumping on the stove because there's something there and they turn a burner on and then fire.
Of course. Especially.
Everything you can do in our app, you can do through voice.
That's
so
cool.
Akshita, I have a question. You told us before the show that you had 15 minutes of fame. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so everything came full circle. I mentioned I started this company because I was inspired by all of the entrepreneurs on Shark Tank. And within a year or 6 months of us building this, Shark Tank reached out to us and we actually ended up airing about a year later. And we were offered a deal from Robert. We didn't take it. At the time, I really didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what this was going to become. But what I will say is that Shark Tank gave me the push I needed and the visibility to really see this as a huge opportunity. We heard from thousands and thousands of people about the applications of this beyond just safety and peace of mind, and how we can really leverage automation to just build a better home and a better kitchen. So we did get a few minutes of fame, and it was just one point in our journey, but it did really kick us off. So
that's pretty cool. Can I ask more of a technical type question here? Do you have any patent pending or any type of patent protection at all for what you're doing?
Yeah, absolutely. So the first thing we ever did once we had a design, not even a prototype, was filed IP. So we do have issued patents in the US and also in other countries. And
that's
then
awesome.
we have patents pending. We have a Gen 2 that's coming out out next year. So a new design. And then we also have patents pending on some other sensors that we're using to more precisely control your stove. So imagine if we could connect with your home security system so that when you press away or you press nighttime, that it'll automatically check for this. Or if we could use a temperature probe to detect what the temperature of your meat is that's cooking. So we have some other applications that we've
Very
also
cool.
patented as well.
So I'm assuming you did both utility and design patents as well then
we just did utility patents just because the design patents just didn't make sense for us.
Gotcha. That's awesome. That's really cool. I mean, that's awesome. That's really cool.
This is fantastic. So after our audience has listened to this show, what advice would you give them? What tip of the day would you give them?
Yeah, so I think in today's day and age of social media and companies being much more transparent with their development processes, is that if you have an idea of how smart technology like ours or anyone else's can better serve you even around the data, reach out. Like, let us know what you find valuable and what you don't, because I think gone are the days that companies build in a silo and then you just release a product and then you hope it works. Like, we take customer feedback very seriously, and everything that you see as part of our product was all from people telling us what they need and us doing that research. So what I would say is, as it relates to smart home technology, and especially aging in place, and for your own parents, let us know and let other companies know what we can do better and what we can add to our current product portfolio so that we can create a much better experience for everyone.
That's awesome. And so to find out more, is it the best way for them to go is to the website, omekitchen.com?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yep, omekitchen.com.
Yep.
And that is omekitchen.com for those listening and not watching.
And I will say I have played around the website. There's a lot of good information about this. Is a super user-friendly, very easy to understand. I mean, I watched a couple of the videos. I mean, it was super. I mean, this video that we're showing up right now, I mean, it's super convenient and easy to understand on how the product works. So I really applaud, you breaking it down, because I know sometimes it can be confusing to see, but you guys have done a phenomenal job of making it very simple, very straightforward.
Thank you. I have to give credit to my team for that. They're amazing.
But it's been super helpful in regards to that. So I love the simplicity.
And congratulations on this. Now, where can people buy it? Do they need to go to your website? Is it in stores?
Yeah, so right now we're just on our website. And then when we release Gen 2 next year, it'll also be on our website, but then we are looking into retail as well. So, but for right now, go to our site.
Yeah, and I'll bring that up here real quick again. I mean, honestly, it's I think super affordable, pretty straightforward. I mean, it's right here. You can have your options of your 1, 4, 5 pack. Yeah, I mean, I think
it's really a no-brainer if you have kids or older adults.
Yeah,
or someone in your life who takes Ambien at night.
Yeah. or cats. I didn't realize cats love stove so much.
My dog could never reach the stovetop, but cats, absolutely. I can see that.
Yeah.
Well, this has been amazing. It's just fantastic to meet you. We will keep an eye on you and the progress that you're making with Ohm Kitchen. And we look forward to seeing someday where that stat of 2.5 times more likely to die in a kitchen fire is reduced because of the work that you're doing here.
Absolutely. And we're definitely have to bring you back with your next sensors, because I'm pretty intrigued by your alarm, tying it back to the stove. I think that's a great thing. So I think you guys are on the path to doing some pretty cool things. So,
well, thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. We'll definitely be talking again, I would say.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Let's jump real quick into our Maverick moments here as we get ready. We're going to focus on what we have coming up here, and that's within about, what's today?
5 days.
Thank you.
5 days. 5 days away.
We have got this coming up, and Collaboration Aging, the unconference. And I can tell you, we've got our final in-person meeting and today, and then we obviously are meeting pretty much every day next week to set up and get things ready to rock and roll. But everything is coming back to this one theme, the human element of aging. I don't think people will appreciate till after it how much energy we've put to ensure that is the capstone message.
Yes. Yeah. So
across
each of
what we
our
do.
each of the people who are either on a panel or presenting or having any kind of participation in the event at all, they all have the human experience of aging as the theme of what
Right.
they're talking about. We're talking about technology, the innovation and trends, how people are using technology as a force multiplier.
Mhm.
We have a documentary on LGBTQ issues in senior care.
Right.
Really, really important. And this is done by a researcher from CU and Shoots.
And we're showing it as part of as their session. So it's not like it's going to be in passive. It's going to be an active element.
Yes.
And a discussion point around how do we ensure, how do we stop these moral victories, right? I had a post on LinkedIn I responded to, right?
Saw it, yes.
How do we stop these moral victories and say, oh, well, we're supporting LGBT. Oh, we're supporting this or we're supporting that. How do we stop these moral victories and actually do things that impact people? Because whether it's funding, whether it's LGBTQ aging issues, whether it's aging issues in general, we've got to cut the crap with seriously. With
how do you feel about this, Francis?
With these moral victories, I mean, I just get exhausted about it because everyone's like, oh, well, we've raised 3% reimbursement for Medicaid. Okay, great, but inflation's 10. So how does that just how do we how does that matter?
And people would say, well, it's a start, which is okay, true.
Right.
Okay,
we've
true.
been saying that for 20 years.
And how do we make more sweeping change? How do we actually make meaningful, impactful changes? And that's really what we're all about at this event. So put your thinking cap on, and starting right now, if you're coming to this event, and if you're not, you need to, there's still time. Clear your mind of anything you think you know about the industry, because we want you to come as a blank slate, come with a beginner's mind, and you will begin to see things differently. And that's how we're going to solve some of these big problems that we're having.
And as Catherine mentioned, we still have a few attendee tickets left. Sponsorships, I think, are all sold out, but maybe one. But if you want a little special insider Maverick discount, hit us up. Hit us up with a message on LinkedIn, Facebook. We will definitely be able to hook you up with a little bit of a discount code. Don't tell anybody, but we can absolutely help everybody out. Because at the end of the day, we really want the change makers there. We want people that are open-minded, that are excited that we have made some progress. But I think it's time to add a little fuel to that fire.
Yeah,
and
we can do better. And when you know you can do better, you must do better.
So until next time, be kind, go out, and pay it forward.